Good afternoon, Suhas. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good, good to see you.
Yeah,
Finally,
you
we
as
meet.
well.
Very glad. Thank
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for reaching out.
you.
Are we,
Um,
this
Ready?
is part of your podcast, is that right?
Yeah, this is my part. I love doing this podcast to the community. I do this only with the Indo-Americans, whoever achieve. I just wanted to bring them onto my show, and at
Okay.
least all the Indo-Americans and NRIs will know who you are, and it's an inspiration and motivation. That's the main
Oh,
intention.
thank you. Oh, that's great. I appreciate it. Do you want to get started or
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you need anything from me?
Lalesh, it's all ready. Yeah. Just give it 30 seconds. Yeah. I'm setting up. Actually, I do on Saturdays.
Do on
Whenever you,
Saturdays. Okay. Okay.
because everyone will be relaxed, they'll be watching, and
Yeah.
that's the momentum. But I know
Okay.
that you was saying you didn't have time, so I just thought I'll respect your time and do. And then anyway, I'll record this and then again promote it in the community.
Great. Well, thank you.
Ready?
Yes.
1 second. He's just setting the broadcasting to TV5. Yes, sir. Ready? Yeah. Ready? 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to TV5 and Mana TV. You're watching Insight with Praveen Puram for the Indo-Americans and NRI show. Today, our esteemed guest is none other than Suhas Subramaniam. He is the Congressman elect. Welcome, Congressman. We are very proud of you and thank you for your time today. Hi,
Thank
Suhas.
you.
Yeah. So let me introduce Suhas. Before introducing, I just wanted to tell you why this show, right? This is the show for all the Indo Americans and NRIs. I just wanted to introduce all the achieved Indo Americans or NRIs across the world and put me on the show on this show. This is for the inspiration and motivation of the community, and definitely people like you who have achieved this will be a role model path for all of us. So that's where here. So without getting delay, I know that Suhas has a hard stop within 30 minutes. Let's finish this as soon as possible. So let me introduce Suhas again. Thank you so much for coming on this show today. Suhas Subramaniam is an American lawyer and also former member of Virginia Senate, representing 32nd district. Is also the congressman elect for Virginia 10 congressional district. Suhas lives in Ashburn, Virginia, and his wife Mirinda and daughters. He's an attorney. He served on the Loudoun Health Council and volunteered as an EMT firefighter. He previously served in Virginia House of Delegates representing 87th District Democrat. He was elected in 2019 and became the first Indian American, South Asian, and Hindu to have elected to the Virginia General Assembly. He previously served as a White House advisor to President Barack Obama. In 2023, Subramaniam was elected to the Virginia state representing the 32nd district. Shortly thereafter, he announced his candidacy for the United States House of Representatives in 2024 election to succeed Jennifer Wexon of the 10th district. He was endorsed by Jennifer to succeed her. In 2024, he won Virginia's 10th congressional district election, defeating Republican Mike Clancy. Congratulations, Suhas. And it's a very interesting and inspirational journey. So, Suhas, first of all, I would love to hear from you your journey, how you have come into this politics. What is the striking point that made you to come into politics?
Well, thank you for having me on. And yes, I think politics wasn't something we emphasized in our family growing up. Certainly, we talked about it when it was in the news. My dad was mostly a Republican, my mom was mostly a Democrat. So sometimes it would lead to a few fights here and there. But uh, I didn't really envision myself being someone who ran for elected office. But I went to school in New Orleans. I was pre med at first. I was actually interested in journalism. And then Hurricane Katrina hit the city when I was going to school. And I just started getting involved in rebuilding the city and really just community service and public service generally. And I ended up wanting to cover more political and news journalism. And that led to a job where I ended up getting exposed to Capitol Hill. And that one thing led to another. And I started working on Capitol Hill a year later. And so it was one of the best experiences because I actually learned about what it takes to really help people at a grander scale and how we as people in government can really unlock the potential of every person in our country and can really help people at a great scale. And so that was sort of how I got into it. It was basically, something kind of tragic happened in this hurricane, and it changed my life's priorities. And part of those priorities ended up being public service. And I've tried to leave and go to the private sector and make money and have a more relaxing life, but the call to service keeps bringing me back. And so I was in the state legislature the last 4 or 5 years. People started retiring on me, our state senator, and then eventually our member of Congress. And I just said yes when asked to step up. And so I feel lucky and proud to be in Congress. And I'm excited about the opportunity to really serve our community and serve our country and the world, really.
Excellent, Zuhas. I think that's so wonderful. So tell me, you said your mom and dad are, both the parties, right? So how did you choose your mom party, Democrat, and how did you entered into Democrat? Typically, you go with your father on the politics, right? But here, I see that you chose Democrat. Was it an opportunity, or you chose based on the party values or so?
I think it was mostly the party values. I think in our family, certainly I understand the Second Amendment, for instance, and I understand the right to own a gun, and I want to respect that. I didn't grow up in a gun culture, though. I have felt like, when I send my kids to school, I worry about gun violence in schools and just safety in our community generally. And generally, like, for instance, Democrats have been better on that issue. Same with the environment. I've always wanted to protect our environment and promote clean energy. I believe climate change is going to be a huge issue. It already is. And Democrats have been better on that issue too. So, there's many issues where I feel like Democratic Party values match my values. Sometimes Democrats aren't always right, though. And growing up in a mixed political household, I understand the importance of working with the other side and coming together, even when you disagree on one issue, because you can still find common ground on other issues. So I may not agree with my colleagues on gun violence prevention, if they're Republican and they support the NRA, but I might be able to come together with them on tax reform or on addressing high tolls in Northern Virginia, or on business development and economic development. And so there's always room for finding common ground, and I think that's missing in our politics today.
Absolutely. I think you've made a very interesting point about the gun violence. And if you see in the Indo-American community, one other aspect is really debatable is the immigration, right? So Suhas, how do you definitely support on that? If you see the Republicans versus Democrats, definitely the immigration is good from the Democrat point of view, right? So what do you think now the Republicans coming into the office soon? What will transform every one of us, everyone who are on visa? They are really really stressed out. It would be great from your view, from your experience. What will happen in the next 2 3 months?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say my priority on immigration is to help legal immigrants, people who came in here on, let's say, H-1B visas or other programs like it, and they contribute a lot to our economy. They contribute a lot to our country. We have many here in Northern Virginia and really all of Virginia. And to see them suffer the way that they have, they're doing the right things. And they're worried, every couple of years they have to renew their status. I would like to see that change. I would like to see them have a path to citizenship a lot faster. When my parents came in from India in the late 70s, my mom got her green card at the airport, at Dulles Airport, when she immigrated here. How great would that be if we are able to essentially, pick off, think of us as like a football team, soccer team, and we can pick off the best players around the world and bring them here to America, right? And fill in the gaps, best agriculture workers, the best IT workers, and fill in the gaps in our economy, and also still promote people who live in this country and get them access to these types of jobs or jobs that they want. I mean, we that would be huge for our economy, and I think that's something I want to emphasize. And so I support lifting country caps. I support making sure we have a path to citizenship for H-1B workers and people on programs like that a lot faster, at least a change in status. And then I'd like to see us. Certainly, we should do border security. I don't like the some of the things the Biden administration was doing, frankly, on border security. But I know that they tried to regroup towards the end. But really, we can do more on the border. But we can also do more. In the end, you can't ship out every illegal immigrant. That would be catastrophic to our economy. The logistics of doing that is just not feasible, really. There's more than 15 million now that are undocumented in this country. And so, certainly the ones that maybe they committed a crime, maybe they're a danger to others, we can start there, right? But, we can see if there's like a merit-based process where we can evaluate those who are undocumented and figure out, whether we can get them a path to citizenship as well. But I want to focus on legal immigration and border security, and then we can try to see if we can give folks who are undocumented path to citizenship, because they are so valuable as well to our economy. And you can talk to many business owners as well who can attest to that.
Thank you, Suhas. My question was border immigration. You already answered, and I know that was the question I wanted to ask you. So glad that you have answered that. So in this podcast, I just wanted to touch more not about the politics, but I wanted to how to promote, encourage Indo-American community. So based on that, in your journey, what are the challenges you see for the Indo-Americans running for the offices? It may be any office. So what are the challenges in your view what the Indo-Americans face?
I think it depends on where they are running and what they are running for. So if you've never run for office before and you decide you're going to run for Congress or governor, it's going to be an uphill battle, right? I think one of the things that I had to my advantage was that I had served as a state legislator in the House and then the state Senate. And so I had a base of support in my district of non-Indian Americans. My district is predominantly not Indian American. It's 90% not Indian American, right? 10% that are South Asian. That's a significant amount for any district. But generally, you're not going to be running in an area predominantly Indian American. So, how do you, appeal to non-Indian Americans, and how do you have that base of support? One of the things I've found in the Indian American community is that Indian American people generally we are pretty generous when it comes to donating to candidates who are running. I had a lot of support from Indian Americans across the country, and really just South Asians generally across the country. The Nepalese community was very supportive as well, for instance. And having that is really helpful too. But when you run without the infrastructure, and no matter how much money you have, it's not going to work out. And so I always tell candidates, if you've run before, and lost, you keep at it. Keep trying to find where you are needed, but also have a good reason to run, and then have that sort of base of support. Find people who are in the American community, but also not in the Indian American community, and try to see if you can get their support early on. Endorsements are really important too. So there's a lot to say there, but the biggest challenge I think I've seen a lot of Indian Americans lose because they really come in and they aim for the top. They aim for an office that is very difficult to win. They get into a primary and then they lose, and they don't really do the work in advance to set up that base of support. And so, maybe they get the funds to run, but they don't get the rest of the things you need to win.
Wow, that's a great point you have added, Suhas. Especially 90% being non-Indo-Americans, and you are winning since 2019. So if you see your journey, it's only like 5 years, right? almost 5 years you have seen the legislative office, you have seen the state senate, and now you are Congress. So that's really, really amazing. And I also see Jennifer is being like, she is setting you as her legacy. That itself says how much you have the strength in the community. If I were to ask you, what is the district total strength in your district?
As far as partisan makeup,
It's
or
a
as far
total
as
population.
oh, like what is the strength of my district?
Yeah.
We have if you I saw a ranking the other day of the median income of congressional districts, and this was one of the top five most wealthy and successful districts in the country. But we have people who have done really well. They have big estates in Loudoun County. We have people who live in the suburbs in these beautiful single family homes, and then we have people who simply can't afford to live in this region, but have to because they have good access to jobs here. And I want so I, my constituency spans the entire sort of spectrum, all of whom are important. They contribute a lot to our economy, to our country as well. Many are former military and veterans, and many are government contractors or federal civil servants themselves. And so they contribute a lot directly to our country and to our economy. And so we have a really dynamic constituency. Dulles Airport, many museums like the Smithsonian, many different businesses that have moved out here, satellite companies, IT companies. And it's one of the most dynamic districts in the country, and you'll over me. I encourage everyone to come visit Loudoun County, Prince William County, even Fauquier and Rappahannock have a lot to offer. And it's very lucky. I feel very lucky to be able to represent a district like this.
Absolutely. So Washington D.C. also comes into your purview, or it's different?
And no. It's Northern Virginia. It's Loudoun County, a little part of Fairfax, and then Prince William County, Rappahannock, and Fauquier County. So the Dulles Airport region.
Excellent. So in your 5 years term, I see that the sparking event for you to get into politics is the Katrina, right? The Hurricane Katrina. Is that
Mhm.
one? So
Yes.
after these 5 years, you might have seen a lot of problems, Suhas, in your district or in your constituency. What are the major accomplishments from the bill perspective or from the welfare of your community? Tell us few things which you have achieved in your 5 years of journey.
Yeah, I have always thought there are some sort of systemic problems in our way we govern. Oftentimes, there are companies who, basically have a monopoly in their industry, or just such a high market advantage, and so they're able to price gouge customers essentially, or push out opposition. So that's kind of where I started because I saw that on guns, Democrats got the majority, they passed gun laws, the Republicans got the majority, they tried to defeat them. So I did a lot on gun violence prevention. I did a lot on economic development here, but so are others. I think what I'm most proud of is the stuff that if I weren't here, it would not have gotten done. The first thing I think about is like the toll prices here. The state corporation commission here wanted to increase the cost of tolls for commuters by 40, 50%. There was a petition, and the state corporation commission actually rejected the company's petition to do that. And it was because of a bill that I passed, essentially saying you have to justify those toll increases. And it used to be that the General Assembly here just didn't do much about it. They let automatic increases every year. They would have let that 40% increase had it not been for my bill. And I can keep going. Utility companies overcharge customers here. There's a monopoly utility company. We were actually able to pass a bill to get customers checks in the mail for refunds for those overcharges. Same with the prescription drug industry. Drug costs are really high for people. I was able to get more transparency in that process, more accountability. So we've done a lot, and a lot of it was just persistence and having people in these communities call their legislators and tell them how important my bill was. And it's very challenging to do work like that, but it's why I do this. I want to do things that no one else feels is possible. People told me not to touch that toll road issue, not to touch that utility company issue, but I did, and I won, and I want to do more of that in Congress.
Wow, that's great to hear. So here as well, you will be, questioned if you are working on some bills. People will try to put a block. It's same like India, right? So how do you feel when
Yes.
that? Because especially Indo-Americans coming in here and fighting, how do you envision the problem around you when you are really vouching for any bill? So is it a scary situation, or it's okay? Or how did you feel when someone blocked you for the toll issue?
It takes persistence, and I don't take things personally, and I think it just takes maneuvering. So, for instance, the toll bill, it actually was defeated my first session. I pushed it really hard. I told my leadership that that was the issue that I cared about most because it directly affected my constituents, and we were not able to pass it. The bill, I had to pull the bill. Then the entire fall and this winter, going into the next session, I just spent all of that time talking to my legislators about that and about other bills too, like the utility bill, company bill, and we were able to pass it the second session with very little opposition. And so it took two sessions, but these things take time. It might take 5 years to get something done. It might take several sessions to lift the country quotas, for instance, on immigration, or to help people on H-1B visas try to get path to citizenship faster. And I just tell people, please, thank you for helping me get elected, but stay with me to try to help me navigate and push these ideas that we all agree on. And then once I push them, I may not be successful. Don't give up. We're going to have to continue this work, and that's why I think it's important that we continue. I'm running for re-election in 2026, and I'm going to keep running until I feel like the work that I started is completed. And so my goal, I think, is to a lot of people have different reasons for getting into this, but for me, it was about just taking on really tough problems and tough fights and trying to figure out a solution to them and help people directly. I think that it's possible, but it takes a lot of work and it takes a village.
Wow, that's great, Suhas, and I'm sure that we all will continue to support you. And as you rightly said, if there is any problem, how do you bring it to you? That's definitely I wanted to understand from you. If anyone has a serious problem across the nation, we definitely wanted to reach out to you and see how this can be. Because I see that you are now in federal, right? Once you are into congressman, you can do more things, right? So how do we reach you for any of the problems? Is it only an email, or is there any other way we can do that?
Yeah, email is the best way. And if you're not able to get a response, or if it's an emergency, you can call our offices. Our offices aren't set up yet. Once I'm sworn in, then all of that will be set up in January. But I've been very responsive as a state legislator, and I'm going to continue to be responsive in Congress. Obviously, if you don't live in my district, but it's something where you want to bring up an issue, you have an idea, just make that note and let our office know. And we'll try to see if we can help you, or try to see if we can think about how to solve the problem that you brought up with your idea. So I want to try to be someone who represents all communities. Obviously, I can't take every call personally anymore. I can't answer every email personally anymore as much, but I'm going to continue that streak of being responsive, because I want people to feel like they have a voice in Congress.
Absolutely, Suhas. Definitely. Thank you so much for that. In the interest of time, I just wanted to touch 2 points. One is your experience in the White House, right? You were part of Obama's administration, and you have been part of the policies as well. How has been that experience, and how did you get there, first of all?
Yeah, I worked on the Obama reelection campaign, so that's how I was, shortlisted for a position like that. I was a technology policy advisor. It was great. We did a lot of work on AI and cybersecurity. I ended up being more of a national security role by the end, because we did a lot on trying to help secure government systems, as well as trying to secure and to help people secure their own private sector systems. And so, I loved it. It was great. I learned from some of the best. Learned from some of the best tech minds on tech policy, some of the best political minds on governing. And Barack Obama was a fantastic president to work for, especially if you're a technology advisor, because he cared. He paid attention to tech and innovation, and he's always been someone who's really thoughtful. And so I really enjoyed working in the White House and working for him. And there's now the Trump administration is coming in, and I'll work with them too. I'll work with anyone because in the end, this is about delivering for the people in Virginia and for people across the country.
Excellent, Suhas. How often do you meet Mr. Obama during that time?
I don't meet with him. I was, he recorded a voicemail for me and helped our campaign. I think he's a busy guy, but he's been an inspiration to a lot of people. I know, regardless of your party, in the end, I look back. I remember I was very angry during George W. Bush's administration, but in the end, when you run for president, when you run for office, when you serve, it's a sacrifice. It's not as glamorous as it looks, but I admire anyone who steps up to run for office and anyone who serves. And they could be doing a lot of other things, but to serve in office is a really unique and special thing.
Excellent. So finally, did you meet Obama or no? During
I've met Obama several times. Yes, I reported to his chief of staff and to the deputy CTO, and we had a great time there. And the day after he won his reelection, he came to our headquarters, gave all of us a big hug. He's always been a very funny and insightful person, and I know has done a lot of great work for our country even after leaving office.
Thank you, Suhas, for sharing the experience in the White House. And what is your suggestion for the young generation or the Indo-Americans or anyone from the community to get involved in the local governance or the local legislations? How do you encourage people? What is the spark you think that they need to be part of the legislation? How they can step up into this?
Yeah, I think the advice I'd give people is if there's something you're passionate about, just start working on it. If you're a doctor, but you actually care about protecting forests from deforestation, just find a local group like the Sierra Club that's involved in that work and just start helping. You don't have to run for office to be able to help on that front. And then if there's a political solution or legislation that can be passed, then reach out to your member of the legislature or find a member of the legislature that can help address that. And I hear from eighth graders sometimes and high schoolers who have great ideas, actually. And I've actually passed legislation that was written by high schoolers, or at least the idea came from them. So, I think anyone can legislate. If you want to run for office, then, get involved in your local Democratic club or Republican club and start, understanding what it takes to get elected in that area, that region. And when there's an opening, just go run, and do the work that it takes. Get advice from people who've already been elected. So it's not as hard as it looks as far as getting involved. Yes, getting elected to Congress is very hard. It takes a lot of sacrifice. And so understand that going in, that if you want to get elected to these positions, it's a sacrifice. But, you don't have to get elected to make a difference. And if you want to get elected, just do the work, build the base, build your profile, and do it for the right reasons. And think good things will happen.
Absolutely, Suhas. That's a great suggestion. And it is very interesting that eighth grader can contribute. Definitely, I think all the parents will love with this idea. Even an eighth grader can do some volunteer work. So do you know where we can reach out apart from the clubs, even directly the government, in the government bodies, can they do any internship during the eighth grader or the high school? Can they do that?
Yeah, my congressional office probably wouldn't take an eighth grader, but an eighth grader can still write to us and suggest an idea. And certainly, when I was in the state legislature, we had high school interns. Our minimum age was 16. We had 17, 18-year-olds who ended up getting paid positions because of the great work they were doing. And they ended up, going on to do great things. And I still keep in touch with them. So there's always opportunities, and it's very easy to reach out. Your state legislator probably doesn't hear a lot from people in their community. And even especially your like local city council or board of supervisors, what we have here in counties, those people will respond to you if you write to them, at least the good ones. And if they don't respond to your email, there's always local meetings that are public, and you can go and you can make your voice heard there, and you can meet with them afterwards. So your legislators work for you, and so don't forget that. So reach out to them and just ask them, how you can help or how to get involved and what your issue is.
Excellent, Suhas. Thank you so much. We could see that energy in you, and really, we congratulate you for the new position, and looking forward that you be in all the IT in the area of in the federal level and make a change. Definitely, I think you will be successful, and thank you so much for giving this opportunity. And I'm very proud to say that you have the roots of South India, right? I'm also from south part, that is Telangana. And I see that your mom, dad, Chennai and Bangalore. Have you been to India after that? After election, after electing?
No,
No,
no, I haven't had time to go. I hope to go as a member of Congress, though, on a congressional delegation over the next couple of years. And my
absolutely.
dad grew up in Secunderabad too, and so we have some Andhra roots. But I think one of the things we haven't talked about is I think there's a lot we can do when it comes to U.S. foreign relations with India, and I would love to see how we can continue to strengthen our economic ties and find ways to collaborate and work together long term.
Absolutely, Suhas. This is one more attempt I'm doing, right, bringing the congressman and bringing the MP. I wanted to do one session. So definitely, you being an Andhra route, it is very easy for me to get any MP onto the call for 30 minutes. And definitely, we'll go with at least suppose on the IT, economic development, and environmental changes. So these things would be really really interesting. And one thing you have already achieved is the pharmacy reduction of the pharmacy or the pills or anything. So this will be very interesting because we see that it is the rates are very high from the health perspective. It's really high. So there are so many things which we can contribute and bring down. And we wish you that you will in your congressman level you will do more accomplishments. And finally, I respect your time for we are close to the 10:30 1:30. So, what would be your final message to the community?
Well, I think you're starting to see that the Indian American community has representation on both Democratic and Republican politics. And I would love to see people who maybe aren't as involved right now get involved. And there's lots of ways to do that. But in the end, I'm very optimistic about the future. I think that even if you're well, regardless of whether you're a Democrat or Republican, there's a lot of challenges ahead, but a lot of ways that we can solve some of the pressing issues in our country. And if we have more people, especially Indian Americans, involved and engaged, then it's going to be we're going to have a bright future. So get involved, stay in touch. We just picked our office. It's in the Longworth building of the House of Representatives, and it's right by the cafeteria. So come visit us, and I look forward to staying in touch.
Absolutely, Suhas. I think one of my friend's wife, Dr. Suhasini, she's also contacted in Minneapolis, and she's planning to do in the state legislation or the Senate. So definitely, she wants to meet. I got a message, so I will definitely introduce you both on an email or phone call, so that you can help her in all the ways, whatever you can.
Wonderful. Thank you so
And
much.
and I'll be trying to do these kind of initiatives for the Indo-Americans who have achieved. This is purely it's motivational for all of us, and this gives an opportunity to know what's going on, rather than politics. At least what are the real problems, how you can solve, and how you can contribute to the government legislation in your local bodies. So definitely, I will be seeking your time in the coming days, and we will do more. And last, one secret I wanted to ask you: there are almost 5 to 6 congressmen. Everyone are in the Democrats. Why not in Republican? So I don't know what's the magic in Democrats. Do you know
No, Democrats are just better than Republicans.
that? I was just wondering to see, are the opportunities in Democrats more for the Indo-Americans? Or I don't know.
Yes,
Do you think yes?
yes.
Excellent. We will see more and more congressmen from the Democrats, Suhas. Wishing you good luck. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being here, and wish you good luck. Have a
Thank you
wonderful
so
day.
much. I appreciate the time. Thank you.